Matriarch Fresh Wort Kits are now online, and if you guys ever wondered who and how Fresh³ is made, we're going to go and find out.
So we're headed to Brunswick, just a few k's out of the city, to see where the magic happens. So home brewers and beer lovers, we're going to get some inside tips and find out what's happening at Co-Conspirators with the head brewer, Deon. Come on.
So guys, we're here with Deon, the brewing manager down at Co-Conspirators in Brunswick. And Deon, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us. It's appreciate you guys coming out for a chat.
No worries. And the reason obviously we're here is because you guys now make our awesome Fresh Wort Kits, and we also have your beers on the website, and you guys have been absolutely smashing it. And we wanted to give our customers some tips, some inside tips basically from pro brewers like yourselves, and also get a bit of background about you guys and how you came about. So
Sure.
I know that you started in, was it 2016 you went pro, but what was before that?
It was about 9 years ago, so whatever that makes it.
Yeah. Okay.
So we all sort of came from a home brewing background and did a lot of home brewing, won a few competitions.
Yep.
And as part of one of the prizes for that competition, we got to rebrew one of the beers on a commercial scale.
Okay.
So Tim, pretty much the same time, won a comp for his red IPA and was able to do the same thing. So we sort of came together and sort of had a taste for commercial brewing, and yeah, it was 9 years ago now. So
and Tim and yourself didn't know each other before?
No, we did.
Oh, you did, yeah.
From home brewing.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so that sort of started the conversation, and I think Tim and Jackie, Meg and myself sort of teamed up and were looking at going down the same path.
Yep.
And it just makes more sense to have 4 people instead of 2. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, two couples together.
Share the risk, share the expertise.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
nice.
Yeah, so that was the start of Co-Conspirators Brewing. We started off sort of gypsy brewing for the first few years. And it's really not until we got this venue that we sort of took most of the brewing in-house.
Yeah, okay.
Which is nice to have that sort of control, and I think the quality, looking after the beers ourselves, is we're pretty happy with the quality these days.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of home brewers a lot of us see ourselves as eventually getting there, like becoming pro brewers.
Yeah.
Would you reckon that's a good way to go? Like gypsy brewing, like get into some competitions, start brewing on commercial equipment, familiarise yourselves with that kind of gear, and then try out gypsy brewing. Is that a good...
Yeah, I think it's a pretty sort of well-trodden path. And I think a lot of brewers start off being home brewers, and that's where you get the passion for it.
Yep.
So I think a lot of the skills and the knowledge and the science behind it transfers pretty well. So having that baseline knowledge from home brewing translates pretty well to big brewing. It is a little different, and it's quite a step up, and it's quite expensive. So you'll see the stainless steel inside. It's not a cheap thing to set up, so it's a big step up.
Yeah. And then you started obviously winning a lot of awards. We've got a few here, which is around the same sort of time when you opened up this place, right? You won 3 awards in 2019, like pretty big awards. I think you had a gold, the best modern pale, or that might have been the year after or something.
Yeah, I mean the awards, it's not really sort of a big focus of ours, and we haven't sort of entered it too often, but when we do, we sort of seem to do pretty well. So the last time we entered the ABAs, we entered 9 beers. All of them got not a trophy. All of them got a medal.
Yeah.
I think we ended up with three golds, including one of the trophies here, which is always nice. So we've always focused mainly on the ABAs, which is the big sort of competition. We entered the Indies a couple of times, and the beers have done well. And it's nice to get that recognition. But I'd like to enter more. But, bit of fun.
Nice one. And this venue is perfect. Like it's a real family venue. You've got like a kids area, you've got a pool table, you've got a English hand pump on there, which I know Key will be really excited about.
That's right. It's a big part of what this venue is, that it is inclusive. The family area was always a pretty important thing for us, and to say families are welcome here, anyone's welcome here. Yep. And we stick the kids away in the back of the venue, but they're still welcome, and it's a big thing for us.
Yeah, great. I guess you guys are a group of people as well, like that started this thing. So as you grow, obviously you know that people still want to get out there with their families and stuff. So
yeah. I've got 2 kids, and they love coming here, which works pretty well for me, so it's good.
Yeah, nice. And now we want to get a few tips as well. So for like home brewers and things like that, what's your guidance in terms of like ingredient selection, hop selection? Is there any kind of what approach that you normally take?
I think probably two of the biggest things with any sort of brewing is you need to have really good sanitation.
Yep.
Without really good sanitation, you'll make some horrible beers.
We'll hear that a lot.
Yeah, and the big step up for most home brewers would be fermentation control.
Yeah.
So being able to control the temperature of the ferment, that's probably the two biggest things that make a difference. Everything after that is sort of your 1%ers. You look at oxygen ingress and reducing dissolved oxygen.
Yep.
You can go down the path of fine tuning your water chemistry.
Yep.
And there's all sorts of elements that'll give you that sort of 1% better beer.
Yeah.
But really, sanitation, keeping things clean.
Yep.
And fermentation control, I think, is probably the two big ones.
So for you, it's kind of like it's post brew day where it's once you get it out of the brew system and into the tanks. Essentially, it's how you look after it from that point onwards. You think
it's everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
We scrub the floors every week. We keep everything pretty clean. So it's not just what happens in the fermenter, but you keep everything pretty sanitary. And you're pretty meticulous about every time you touch the beer. It needs to be sanitary for sure.
Yeah. And I've seen the brew house; it's sparkling.
Yeah. No, we keep everything nice and clean.
Yeah.
It is almost a display brewery, so we do make it look nice, but it needs to be clean.
Yeah, nice. And in particular, you guys are really good at like your hoppy beers, like your IPAs, your Matriarch and stuff like that. What kind of advice is, if you were going to give homebrewers 3 tips for those particular type of beers, like getting the most out of your hops and really making those beers really sing, essentially?
Yeah, I think as far as ingredients, you've got to use fresh ingredients. And I think milling is as close to when you can sort of use the malt. Keeping the hops nice and fresh, keeping them cold, looking after them. Again, try and keep that oxygen out of it. Keep nice fresh ingredients is probably one of the keys. You get a feel for what hops play well together, and it's picking the right hops that will play well. Make a nice beer. And you can always just add more and more hops. I think there's a point of diminishing returns. But if you want to make something hoppy, then you got to add some hops.
Stick some hops.
Yeah, you've got to add some hops.
Yeah, cool. So hop combinations. And are you guys like smelling hops together? Is that how I've seen the guys, a few breweries over in the UK, they get hops and they have like they kind of meld the hops together and see what they think they're going to get when they combine them in the fermentation tank.
I think that's a good thing to do. We don't sort of do that too often. I've got a fairly strong gauge of what hops do and what hops to use in combination. So we don't often sort of smell the hops before using it. I smell the hops every time I open the bag. But it's not,
it hits you in the face.
It does, and it smells good. That's a good tip. You can sort of blend them together and see what it's like.
Yeah, nice. So we touched on it previously, Matriarch, obviously it's your flagship beer. And you guys doing our Fresh Wort Kits, it only makes sense that we end up having a beer that homebrewers can make and try and emulate, obviously, your flagship product. So what tips would you give, apart, obviously the Fresh Wort Kit guys, you've already said that the majority of that's going to be, like, they're going to have to control that fermentation. What tips would you give to the all grain guys that are going to be brewing the beer?
Yeah, I mean, making good quality wort is where it all starts. I think with any sort of hazy, it's the right yeast selection. Plays a pretty important part. The water chemistry is pretty important. But then just the dry hops and getting the timing for the dry hops. Right. So we do a double dry hop. With some of the hazes, we do a triple dry hop. And it's all about chasing that bar transformation. So get the interplay between the hops and the yeast create new flavour compounds. Which you wouldn't have from just the yeast or the hops, which is really pretty interesting. So it's that dry hop during fermentation and then a big dry hop right at the end as well, getting as much hops as you can into it.
And if you're doing 3, are you doing that like at high Krausen, post high Krausen, and then soft crash, or are you just?
We do it day 0. So as soon as the wort goes into the fermenter, we'll add the hops at that stage. We'll do it sort of 3 days in, and then right at the end of fermentation as well.
And is that like at 14 degrees or something, or are you still doing it as normal?
No, we do it high. It's sort of at the end of fermentation, so it'd be sort of in the 20s.
Yeah, cool. And what, obviously it's a core range, but how often does this beer actually change? So are you guys playing with the recipe quite a bit, or?
Not really. I mean, it's an interesting recipe. I think we were one of the first ones to do a New England style IPA in Australia. So the recipe that I wrote initially is very different to the recipes I would write now for a hazy. But I think people like the flavour in it, and I wouldn't change it because of that. So occasionally you make a few tweaks. But those tweaks happen pretty early on, and it's pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, and so that's basically just tweaks based on hops, like slightly different crop years and stuff like that. Is that where you're making those slight tweaks? But obviously you're not messing with obviously it's taken off, so you don't want to mess with the magic formula.
Yeah, and I mean one of the interesting things about the Matriarchs, we use a little bit of Vienna malt, which is unusual.
Yeah.
So the Matriarch is actually more malty than a lot of NEIPAs would be. It's also got a slightly darker colour because of that, which is interesting for a NEIPA. And I've often thought it's not something I would add if I was to write that recipe now. But in the early days, that's what we added, and people seem to like it, so we'll leave it in there.
Yeah, because normally it's just something pale, something with high proteins, things like that. So what made you put that in there at first? Just inexperience? Or?
well, probably to an extent. It was pretty early days with the NEIPAs, and as I said, there weren't too many being brewed in Australia, so we were one of the first ones to do it. And that's where my thought process was. A little bit of Vienna in there might be nice.
Yeah,
and that's what I added, and that's what it is.
And if it was one of the first ones in Australia, what gave you the inspiration? Had you travelled to the US recently or something like that, or?
No, just New England IPA sort of got a little bit of traction in the US, and was interested in the style and researched it, and did it on a homebrew scale a few times and liked it, and then scaled it up.
What we'll do is we will put that together into an all-grain recipe as well, with probably a little bit of help from Deon, who has to help us on our Fresh Wort Kit recipes quite a bit. And then we'll try and get it. And what we'll do is we'll actually bundle the cans in so that the guys can see how close they can get to the flagship, essentially.
That sounds like a bit of fun to me.
Yeah. I think that's what everyone wants to do. I know if I'm ever doing a clone recipe, that's what I want to pair it against. That's what I'm aiming for. So I think the guys back home would really enjoy that one.
Sounds good.
So we headed into the brewery to tag in with Nigel, who's the other brewer here, who was getting the brew kit ready for the very first Matriarch Fresh³ brew day. So we made sure everything was spick and span, ready for the brew day, and also, more importantly, all the valves were closed. We didn't want scorching wort flying along the place. So the guys at Co-Conspirators have ultimate control over this system. With it being steam jacketed, they can control the mash temps, do step mashes and everything like that. Then we're off to the grain room.
This is basically where the brew day starts. We've got a little mill here. It's a little two-head roller. It crushes the grain, gets fed into the auger, and the auger takes it up to a holding vessel where we start the brew day.
Yep. And what sort of, you were saying before, like you have limitations on the hopper size?
Yeah. So we've worked out we can only fit about 425 kilos.
Yep.
Today we're doing 525. So the extra 100 kilos we'll mash in first. Once that grain gets used up, we'll top it back up. So we'll have the mill running at the same time as mashing in. It's a big beer. It's got to be a bit of fun.
Yeah, nice. So there's no issues with just dumping that in after you've done it.
It works pretty well. We've done it a few times. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
So with those extra grains tossed in there, we get to see Deon's most versatile tool in the brewery.
You can hear how much is in there.
Right.
And you'll see right at the end, once it's almost empty, it'll ring like a bell. So it's a great handy tool we have.
So there's still a fair bit in there at the minute then?
Yeah. There's heaps.
Since none of the oats go through the mill, we just added those directly to the mash tun.
So I'll just slowly add it so it's evenly spread. So throughout the process, we'll just add a little bit of salt, spreading it through the whole process.
And you layer those in throughout the mash, do you, rather than just dumping them?
Yep. Just so it's evenly spread.
So we're aiming for a 3-to-1 chloride to sulfide ratio on this one. And then Deon's favourite tools bag.
Let's run through.
Deon and Nigel's attention to the numbers is absolutely key to everything that they do here to ensure that they've got top quality and, more importantly, consistent and replicatable brews every time. And then it was time for my big moment. So we're taking the pH measurement and the pre-boil gravity as they transfer across. So an hour and a half later, the transfer is done and we're up to a roaring boil. No hops yet though on this one. And after getting myself in their way all day, we finally got put to work. Then the work's cooled down to 80 degrees and it's time for that magic combination that makes Matriarch such a great beer. We've got Citra, Mosaic and Eldorado all getting measured out here for the Whirlpool edition. And of course, the gratuitous slow-mo pour. So after leisurely enjoying the aromas hitting the air after that Whirlpool edition, we were back to packaging. So packaging in bladders for us is absolutely key because it allows us to vacuum the bladders prior to filling to ensure that all of those wonderful hop aromas are locked in for you guys to brew at home.
So we're all wrapped up here at CoConspirators for the brew day where we've brewed Matriarch on this commercial system to go into these fresh work kits so you guys can brew this beer at home. Don't forget to order a 4-pack through the website as well whilst you're brewing that so you can see how close you get to what the pros are doing here. We're going to get these packaged up for you now, and Deon has very kindly given us the all grain recipe as well so that we've tweaked that down so it'll fit on a Brewzilla so that you all grain brewers can try it as well. Comment below if you're wanting us to release a video of that, and along with all the other tips that Deon's given us today, we'll show you how to get that packaged and get it perfect for the homebrew scale. And obviously don't forget to like, subscribe and join our Facebook homebrew community page. All right guys, cheers, goodbye.